afternoon. And of course, it has been a minute since the last time we saw each other in this amazing show on the Sports Show. This is the 12th day of the month, that is April, the year 2025. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. it's time to get sporty. We have a lot of activities lined up for you this particular weekend. Remember, all roads will be heading to Kakamega, the finals of the Kenya Cup between, that is, the Cabra Sugar and of course Menengai Oilers. This is a very thrilling encounter between these two teams this season. This is one, or rather two, of the best teams in the Kenya Cup this particular season. Remember, Cabra Sugar will be eyeing to lift this title yet again after they won it in the last edition, that is the last season. And of course, they have played 39 match unbeaten, and of course they have very impressive record, 39 games unbeaten since 2022. That is quite an impressive feat for any team to actually emulate. They have really set the standard, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the event will unfold, given the quality and the caliber of these two teams, two of the best teams in the Kenya Cup this particular season. Remember, Menengai Oilers, they edged out KCB to book a ticket in the finals, and that is their clash in the semi-finals. Same case with the Cabra Sugar, and the final piece of it will be quite interesting to see which team will actually walk away with the 2024-2025 Kenya Cup title. One team will be eyeing this particular title for the first time. I'm talking about the Menengai Oilers, but Cabras, they'll be keen to defend their title that they have won it for 3 consecutive seasons, and of course they want to extend their dominance in the Kenya Cup. Well, quite interesting encounter. But don't forget, we also have some finals, even as the curtain comes down in the 2025 first term Kenya Secondary Schools Games Sports Association. And of course we have a couple of finals from rugby, we have the basketball, we have the handball and the hockey, and of course we'll be bringing you up to speed with what is transpiring right now at Shanzu, and of course at Shimolatewa Secondary School, that is in Mombasa, where this the first term of these games are being held. And of course we will tell you who has won what, under which category, and of course who has defended the title, who has relinquished the title, just to bring you up to speed with these secondary school games, one of the most exciting games in the calendar of secondary schools. This is where the talents are, bred, some born, and of course some even some are recognized for their exemplary performance when it comes to sports. And the famous one that is so fresh in our minds is the likes of Adrian Kibet. You remember, his talent was actually realized during these secondary schools games, and from there now you can see the important role that these games plays in the society when it comes to the nurturing of young talents, and of course breeding a crop of sportsmanship in the country that will not only carry Kenyan flag, but will give them an opportunity to actually put something on the table in terms of I'm talking about the income generating activities, because sports and of course talent pays, and at the end of the day that is the main goal of these secondary school games, just to nurture talents and of course expose these talents and give secondary schools students an opportunity to grow their sports and nurture their talent. So that is the essence of these games, and of course we'll be keen to follow and see which teams will be claiming the bragging rights. Remember, I can tell you for sure one team, and that is the defending champion, the the rugby 15 side, that is the men All Saints from Embu. This time around they will not be defending their title because they were edged out yesterday by Kisii School in the semi-finals of the rugby. And this time around it's between Kisii and of course Vihiga High School. one of them will carry the title. The big question is, who will be that? Well, who will be that school that will carry that the title, the 2025 first term Secondary Schools Sports Association Games title as far as rugby is concerned. Very quite interesting aspect just to see how the event will pan out, and we'll be here to update you on what is happening at Shanzu. Alright, so that is as far as the secondary schools games are concerned, but don't forget to still have the Kenya Cup fixtures lined up for today and of course tomorrow. We have the top guns, the likes of Gor Mahia, KCB, Kenya Police, Kakamega Homeboys. We have Shabana all the way, staking their head out there to make sure that they clinch the ticket to the quarterfinals of the Kenya Cup. Remember, this is the 16th round of the Kenya Cup. So from here, each team will be keen just to secure that ticket to march all the way to the quarterfinals, because this particular competition is very important because it gives teams a chance to participate in the continental football. Now this is the Europa League of Africa. We have the CAF Confederation League, which is equivalent to the Champions League. Then we have the Confederation League, which is equivalent to the Europa League of Africa Football Federation. So quite interesting, and of course you can see what is at stake for each team. So winning this gives you an automatic ticket to represent the country in the Africa Confederation Conference League championship that will be held next season. And of course we'll bring you up to speed with what is happening. Remember, all matches will be kicking off at exactly 3 p.m. East African time. And beside that, we had a one-on-one conversation about an emerging game that is quite new, but not that new, but actually for some it will be the first time, and it's quite intriguing just to see the kind of sports that really is taking shape in the country. And of course that is a conversation that will be coming to you later on. It's quite interesting about the jumping rope, just how the tremendous steps that these particular sports has taken from its inception all the way, the journey, the transition until now. So we talked about the journey, and of course the future and what to expect. Quite important to notice that the team is actually hitting the camp and the ground running ahead of the World Rope Jumping Championship that will be held in Japan. And all the intrigues and what you need to know about the Jumping Rope Championship and of course the sport itself in the country, we'll be bringing to you that one-on-one and of course exclusive interview that we did with the Jumping Rope Kenya Federation President, and that discussion will be coming to you later on, even as we take a look at some of the stories that we prepared for you this particular show. Don't forget, we still have the English Premier League and of course Champions League action. The midweek, Arsenal made some quite wali shock. Wacha tuseme, let's give it to them their flowers. They really walitustua sana. 3 goals against Real Madrid, one of the most formidable teams. But it's fair to say, in as much as Arsenal won, the game is not over yet. You're talking about Real Madrid, remember? This is a team that can really surprise you. They are the kings of comeback, the real kings of comeback when it comes to Champions League. So until this particular moment, until the second leg, all I can say is at stake, in as much as Arsenal wako na one leg already in the semis of the UEFA Champions League. So tupatie Arsenal their flowers. Walijaribu, to be fair. They really tried, given the fact that they were playing against a team that is quite experienced. But that is not the end of road for Arsenal. They still have to keep up with the momentum, maintain the projection and of course the same spirit. Let's see kama watakuwa lucky, kama Declan Rice still atascore 2 free kicks or table it overturn. Well, quite interesting. So leo they'll be taking on Brentford in the English Premier League. So wacha tuone sasa kama ile excitement ya UEFA Champions League itakuwa carried forward to today's fixtures in the English Premier League. So that and many more, it's actually a lined up that we have really we have a jammed section or session for you as far as the sporting activities is concerned. So we have from football matters, athletics, all the way to the jumping rope. Quite interesting show we have lined up for you. But first thing first, let me take you through some of the stories that will be forming the basis of our show today. Alright, so we begin with the latest. Now, the stage is set for a thrilling climax to the 2024-2025 Kenya Cup season as Cabra's Sugar, RFC and Menengai Oilers prepare to clash in what promised to be an electrifying final at the Kakamega ACK showground. Cabra's Sugar, RFC will be hoping to end the season on high note with another stellar campaign or rather performance, finishing the regular season unbeaten with 52 points. The Oilers are also out to make a strong statement with their sole mission bringing their first Kenya Cup title home after edging out KCB in the semis to book a date with the defending champions Cabras. Alright, so that is a match that many people are waiting to see how the event will pan out. Will the tide swing in favor of Cabras for another season, or this time round it will be another team, the Menengai Oilers, at least who are really putting their heart out in the ring to make sure like this time round at least they walk home with the first title, the first Kenya Cup title. So it's very interesting to see how event will pan out there at Kakamega showground. That is the home ground of Cabra's Sugar. Well, it's amazing. The finals being played at your home turf. Does it give you an advantage? Ama tungetafuta a neutral ground so that each team will feel like kila mtu amepewa fair advantage. But that is rugby manenos. So let's wait and see how things will turn out to be. Now from rugby, let's switch gears to secondary school games. Now Kisii School will face off Vihiga High School in a mouth-watering encounter in the rugby 15s aside as curtain falls on this year's Kenya Secondary School Sports Association. National team, that is the National Term 1 games at Shanzu Teachers College and Shimola Tewa High School in Mombasa. In the women basketball, defending champions Butere Girls will square it out with Kaya Tiwa. In the boys category, holders Dr. Agri survived a scare against determined Lukenya School, rallying from behind to secure a 70-66 victory to book a date with the Leisa Hills of Kajiado County, who edged out Dagoretti High School in a nail-biting 85-83 semi-final, among other finals set for today. Well, the semi-finals was a tough affair. And now the teams that will be playing in the final really won was by whisker. some might call it a nail-biting affair between these two teams. Now, if that is the semi-final, now you can imagine the final. It's going to be chaos. Anyway, so we'll still bring you up to speed. We'll give you update of what will be happening there at the Shanzu and of course Shimolatewa secondary schools, as during this is the last day of the first term secondary schools games. Remember the finals, all the finals will be played today. Now away from the secondary schools games, now the cabinet secretary for defense Soipan Tuya has revealed that the government will spend 44.7 billion shillings to construct the Talanta Sports Complex ahead of the African Cup of Nations 2027 that Kenya will host alongside Uganda and Tanzania. With 37% of the construction done, the government has only paid 2% of the total construction cost. The construction of the 60-seater capacity began on March, 60,000 seater capacity began on March last year and is expected to be completed on February next year. Alright, so what it will cost taxpayer to build Talanta Stadium is 44.7 billion, and according to reliable sources, this is what they term, quote unquote, this is a game changer when it comes now to holding international matches, and of course 60,000 capacity stadium, that is 60,000 seater, and of course it will be up to the world-class standard. But the $44.7 billion question is it really worth it that much? It has really raised a lot of concern among the stakeholders and even Kenyans when the news broke out about what it will cost to build this stadium. So we want to see if really it will live up to the expectation and of course the price. Ama kuna two fishy deals kama kawa the way tumezoea, ama this time round mambo itakuwa a little bit different. Remember it's 37% done, only 5% of the total construction cost imelipwa. So sijui kama mnanielewa, kuna mambo itakuwa sawa, msikuwe na wasiwasi. Anyway, so that is matters to do with the Talanta Sports Complex, one of the biggest sports stadia in the country, when it will be completed, and of course if all procedure and all the plan really plays out the way it's supposed to be, then well, tutakuwa na world class stadium in the country. Anyway, now let's switch gears to some encouraging stories. Now the junior NBA M-Pesa national finals came to a spirited conclusion on Friday, April 11, 2025 at the Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa, as top youth basketball talent from across Kenya delivered a thrilling showcase of skills, teamwork, and sportsmanship. St. John's, Korogocho, and Olympic Junior School, both from Nairobi, were crowned national champions in the boys and girls category, respectively, capping a competitive journey that began with the regional qualifiers in February.
The feeling is great. I lack words to explain how you feel, but of course we put in the work. It has taken sweat, hours. We've burned oil for this. We've been waiting for this moment, and yeah, we did it. We are the champions. Of course, the stakes were high. The pressure was on us because we already said we are winning the national championships. But yeah, we went back to a drawing board. We said one down, one more to go. So we just went back to a normal routine, consistency, put in the work, run our motions, play our defense, you know, and it has paid off eventually. Yeah.
Right. Quite encouraging story there from young athletes who are really wanajituma sana to make sure like they nurture their talents when it comes to matters. This is basketball. Well, basketball iko na a lot of opportunities for young people, and especially for those who are talented. You can actually get a scholarship. You live your dream. Ucheze basketball, at the same time pia ukuwe na career, uingishe double digits. Double digits actually means like unaingisha through talent, at the same time pia hiyo masomo kidogo ama hiyo masomo mingi yenye utakuwa umepata at the end of the day, depending on your level of education, you earn double. We have a lot of players in the world who earns through both talent and of course their professional field. Most cases, when you are a talented football, your full-time career is football. But have you ever thought of a footballer at the same time a teacher? Well, now that is double salary, right? Una earn from field, then from class. It's possible. This is where now there is what we call now sports initiative in terms of business-wise. So how can you maximize what you have to actually generate more revenue? So next time, nitawatake take through class of another class which is very important, how to actually plan yourself as a sportsman and earn from your field. At the same time, pia add another bonuses through other ventures. Some might call it business ventures, others it's just a professional talk. Do you know, as a professional footballer, you can decide to actually tackle mental health issues as a income generating activities where you advise sportsmen in the country. Like you can advise fellow footballers about matters life, how to deal with the pressure that comes with being a top footballer, being a top sportsman in the country, and how to deal with pressure. You can actually encourage and of course educate others, and they can pay you for that. Well, kwa wale wenye wananisikiza and unaona this is actually a venue ama a space yenye unaweza find a gap and venture into, this is a good one, and this applies to everyone. For those wenye wanatusikiza from home, wale behind the scene, there is a very space for so long imekuwa like iko na big gap that if people can actually exploit it, then tunaweza make a good or rather big difference in the society, because this is an area that personally nimekam to realize there is a niche, and we need to do a lot to make sure that we encourage our sportsmen in the country to actually to deal with pressure. Wajue like kuna life beyond football, beyond athletics, beyond rugby. It's okay. Today una win, tomorrow you don't win. That's life. Yeah. And no offense in that, no shame. There's no shame in losing. That is the rule of game. Today you are lucky, tomorrow you're not lucky. But it's how you deal with that. That's what matters. So majama, space iko. You can make a difference through that in the society. Wengine wameniuliza like what are you planning about that? Well, to be honest, in future I think tutakuwa tunaweka some sections after we are done with sports, half talk, and tuna balance. So about sasa payment ndo sijui nitakuwa napata aje for those wenye nitakuwa na release knowledge to them, because it's some sort of like counseling. open up one-on-one moments, but in this case the only difference ni for you to open up, maybe una to DM up on our socials, una talk to us, and of course we'll be very discreet and of course with high level of professionalism. Is it really possible in this modern age, especially when it comes to social media and of course the rate at which information really fly pretty quick? Now that's another area that tuna plan to exploit. How can we keep it very discreet and very private and confidential? So wale yenye mko very creative, I think that is another space pia yenye mnafaa kuexploit a little bit further. Now let's move on. Now football matters. Nairobi United will seek to secure a slot in the Football Kenya Federation Kenya Cup when they take on KCB. Remember, those match will begin exactly at 3 p.m. At the same time, Gor Mahia will face Bandari FC in a bid to secure a ticket in the quarters of the Football Kenya Federation Cup, or if you like, the Betting Cup. That is the fixtures for today. As you can see, we have top guns. I'm talking about the likes of Gor Mahia will be up against KCB, Bandari FC, Nairobi United against KCB. Then we have Denmark against Kariobangi Sharks. Then Campbell against Mara Sugar. Homeboys against Shabana. Then Bandari will square it out with Gor. All those teams will be eyeing. That is, remember, that is the first day. That is today on Saturday. Then on Sunday still, we have the likes of Police FC against Kapenguria United, Moranga Seals against Kibera Sacco. Then we have Bidco United against Ulinzi, Kakamega Homeboys against Shabana, of which I mentioned earlier on. All these teams will be eyeing tickets tickets to take part, or rather to play in the quarters of the Football Kenya Federation Cup. And just like I said, there's a very crucial encounter between these two teams, or rather between these fixtures, because after this, whoever will carry the 2024-2025 season, that is FKF Cup, then will automatically gain the ticket to take part in the Continental Showpiece. So you can imagine the caliber of the competition, how the stakes will be high for both teams, and we'll just wait to see which team will be progressing to the quarters, and we'll be updating you later on about these fixtures. Now from there, that is from the FKF fixtures. Now let's switch gears to, we have the English Premier League, where the first match in the English Premier League was an early kickoff. That is Manchester City will currently they are playing against Crystal Palace. Then Southampton will be up against Aston Villa at exactly 5 p.m. East African time. Then Nottingham Forest will be seeking to keep up with the momentum and of course stay in the top 4 bracket when they take on Everton, as Brighton square it out with Leicester City, while Arsenal will welcome Brentford at Emirates Stadium. Remember, Arsenal are fresh from winning 3 goals against Real Madrid, so it will be quite interesting to see how the event will pan out. That is, that will be the last game of today's fixture. On Sunday, we have a couple of fixtures lined up for you. Chelsea will be up against Ipswich Town. Then Wolves will play Tottenham. Then Liverpool will be looking to bounce back from defeat. Last time they lost against Fulham, and they will be eager to make a strong statement, or rather to make a comeback when they take on West Ham United at Anfield. And Newcastle will welcome Manchester United at St James Park. And yet another very thrilling encounter between these two teams. So will Manchester United shake Newcastle United, or it will be Newcastle that will actually be walking away with 3 points. So that is actually the big match of tomorrow. Remember, Newcastle United is fighting to actually wind up this particular season in top 4 bracket. Same case with Manchester United, who have really been struggling, and they'll be wanting to at least finish within European competition next season. So quite interesting encounter between the two teams. So that is the stories that will be forming the basis of our discussion tonight. And of course, we want to take a very short break, and of course when we come back, remember, we have a very amazing discussion and a one-on-one discussion that we had with Kenya Jumping Rope Federation President, and I'm sure you are eager and keen to know this jumping rope. How is it a sport? Many just know it as an exercise. During our time tukiwa young tulikuwa tunasema bubble gun. Sijui kama mnakumbuka, unachukua kamba, ama hiyo ilikuwa madem, unachukua kamba unaruka. It's actually amazing. Actually, you can go and do that na compete, upate medals. Anyway, me the first time nilisikia yenyewe it's a sports, nikajua yenyewe hapa any game yenye umecheza, hata bano inaweza kuwa sports, by the way. Nasikia bano pia iko in the Olympics. What about kati? Ile ball inarushwa, unalenga, una miss. Hiyo pia iko kwa Olympics. Ama tuitafutie federation pia. Anyway, quite interesting about this, the Kenya Jumping Rope Federation. Quite amazing journey, and of course the way they have really fought from the time, the first time it was introduced until now. Imekuwa registered under the Federation, Kenya Sports Federation, and it's among the recognized sports in the country. And so your discussion itakuwa tunakuletea baadaye, but let's take this very short break. When we come back, we still have plenty lined up for you. Our menu today is full, and we promise to serve it hot as it is, but after this very short break.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Hi, my name is Stella Tioi.
Jina langu naitwa Okemwa Mkwa James.
This is Mandela Gaya.
Ugonjwa ulipokuja ulichukua siku 3 ukaniweka in coma. 20 wamezikwa, 2 ndio wako hai.
I don't even know how it feels to see.
I feel like I cannot express myself well the way somebody who can walk can actually express themselves.
Ilichukua muda mwingi mrefu tena mpana ili kuikubali kwamba mimi siwezi tembea tena.
I've come to actually accept myself.
Ukijaribu kumsimamisha mtu umwambie tafadhali nionyeshe njia,
They find it quite strange talking to you.
We should just make schools integrated
Inclusive setups.
by providing the right facilities.
Naam, ungana nami ua lako linalonukia na kuvutia waridi tamu katika mitindo ya kipwani hapa KUTV. Katika toleo hili la Nairobi basi tarajia mambo makubwa sana. Kutakuwa na vyakula vya kipwani kama vile shawarma. Watu hawajui shawarma nini? Kuna biriani, kuna vyakula ambavyo vimepikwa na vikasukwa kwa kutumia nazi. Bila kusahau mazungumzo ya kusisimua na wataalamu waliobobea kwa mambo ya ndoa, mambo ya Uswahili basi, mambo ya mashairi.
Jamani swahibu zangu mliopo maskani, hatuonani wenzangu, najua mwanitamani.
Kosi kupata tarabu, chakacha, midundiko. Yani hapo ni pale ambapo viuno vinazungushwa kisawasawa na kubiringishwa ni kana kwamba havina mfupa kwenye mitindo ya kipwani hapa KUTV. Ukiwa nami waridi tamu, usikose matamu.
Tunachimba hadi mizizi kukuletea yanayojiri.
So mimi naomba tu serikali yetu ya Mungu, jibarikiwe na Mungu, iweze kuteremsha bei ya mafuta.
Yanayokukumba tuna maizi, tunakutetea sisiri. Kwa kweli ni speciali tukikupambia makala ya mwanamke mwake. Utasema hupendi mizizi ya habari. Nami Caroline.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Ni nguzo na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka akawa tuzo, ukakamavu wake ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimwele.
Naitwa Chef Anisia Joka, North Coast Beach Hotel, na leo ninaandaa bajia za ndengu.
Yaani viungo vyenyewe tu vilikuwa vinanivutia hata mwanzo, hata tangu, yaani kabla hata nionje, yani nilikuwa navutiwa na viungo. Mtamu.
Asante. Asante.
Hadi unafikiri sijui ni keki, sijui ni nini.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The Bible says, when he spoke, then he spoke a parable to them, that men always ought to pray and not lose heart.
Christ says, I stand in the door and I knock. Whoever hears my voice and opens, I will dwell with him.
Like the moon, I will fade, but like the star, I will rise again. And though I fall, be rest assured that I will rise again.
Go to the hospitals, tell them that God will heal them. Go to the prisons, tell them that they'll be free. Go to the crusades and tell people that Christ is coming, and sooner than the word itself, the second advent is imminent.
Time to talk to KUTV. First of all, take us through what is happening right here. I understand this is the jumping team, so he'll give us some insight about when was this team formed until where we are today, even as we forge a very fruitful conversation with you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my name is Lydia Aswani, and I'm currently the president of Kenya Jump Rope Federation. Yeah, jump rope sport in Kenya started way back in 2010, and it was introduced by an American world champion who went to Tanzania, introduced the sport, and then he came to Kenya and his quest was, he was looking for a way for the sport to be competed in East Africa. So that was in 2010. So by 2011, we were able to represent Kenya at the World Championship in US. Then 2013, again, we took a bigger number, again in Florida, US, and we were position 3 after US and France. 2015, again, we were able to represent Kenya in US again, and we won 42 medals. Yeah, 2017, we went to Norway, where again we were position 3 out of after US and France. And then that was our last World Championship in 2017. And then 2028 we couldn't make it. 2018 we couldn't make it. 2019 we tried, we couldn't make it. 2020 we were supposed to go, but we didn't make it again because of Corona. So we did it virtually, and we became position 3. And then 2021 and 2022 to 2023, we missed all the World Championship due to financial support. And 2024, we were the only African country to be invited to the Olympics in France. Unfortunately, we didn't make it. 2025, we are aiming the World Championship in Japan. I hope this time round it's gonna work.
Okay.
Thank you.
And before we talk about the World Championship and the upcoming events,
Yes.
so when did the passion begin for you?
Yeah, thank you so much. So, well, it's a bit long story, but to cut it short, so I'm a former, so many people know me as a soccer player, and they have seen me in so many fields. I'm a former, the best player every year when I was in Butere Girls, and after that I was able to play Kenya Premier League. I was able to one day go to the camp of national team, but I didn't make it with the team. And then at some point I started feeling gaps. Like I felt like there is so much gap in me that soccer or anything, like nothing was fulfilling the gaps in me. And I had to pause. And of course, with women's soccer years back, we had so many challenges going on, and so you had to be very careful of like, do you continue doing it or you have to venture into something else? So at first, I ventured into coaching, soccer coach. So I coach. I'm a member of the Soccer Africa Academy in Athi River, the founding members. I'm part of that, but again I still felt so much gaps in me and void, and I was like, then I need to listen deeper. So for me it was more of like finding my own and also just my identity, because I realized at some point that I had developed a false identity, like being the Luis, Messi, like Ronaldo, and outside the field of sport, I'm a nobody. So I wanted a real identity, and I was like, let me try this God. Like I have never been serious with the guy. So I'm like, God, do you have something for me? Like, is there something that I can use to actually bring hope in my community? So yeah, I can say for me, he spoke. And then like during 2020, that was the year. That was the jackpot year for me. So I'm online and I'm searching like, God, please show me something that I can use to bring hope in my community, to safeguard the kids in my community, because the community I come from, Gidurai, you don't have spaces, like sports spaces, and we have almost 1 million kids. So I'm like, these kids, like in 2050, I can visualize, and I'm like, what kind of individual are these? People who are not playing in school, they don't have PEs, they don't have spaces to play, and also like social skills and their mental health. So I was like, I'm looking into something that can really bring hope and enhance a whole person. And then, yeah, so I learned about jump rope online. So in YouTube, I come across jump rope, and I'm like, I want this thing, but it looks scary actually. And then like, with every day following it and passion to just learn, like, who is doing this and where is it? Where was it started? Then I came across the national team of Kenya that was in existence, but at that time they were not a registered federation. They were operating as an association. Yes, so I joined them, started training, and a year after year I had like 200, 300 kids like coming, and we are jumping, and I'm like, then this thing, I have to uplift it to some level. I don't want people to just jump and go home. Like, what is in this thing? So I was so curious. And also just coming out of sporting environment, I know the importance of sport. Like, even if you don't make it as a professional player, there are so many important nuggets that sports bring into someone's life, like social skills, like traveling, like knowing yourself, knowing how to handle and work with people. So those are some of the things I was like, if they don't end up being anybody's like professional athletes, at least I want to mold them into productive individuals. So that is how the journey was started along with me. And then I learned that this sport is huge on the other side. Actually, it's only Africa where the sport is still very, the sport has very minimal attention in Africa. But the other continent, the sport is huge. So when I'm looking at those continents, I'm like, some, like, people have already laid a foundation for us, African and Kenya. Like for me, it's Kenya, then Africa. So I'm like, then if people have laid that, we need to be there and maybe climb higher. So now I started training the kids like professionally. And as we speak, the kids have trained for the last 4 years. 10 of them are in the national team under 15. Yeah.
Right. And how many categories do we have in this team? Because I can see it's a blended version. We have young kids as low as under 15.
Yes.
Then we have the senior squad. I can see majority who are over 18.
Yes.
So how many categories do we have, and what criteria do you use to select the team?
Oh, nice. Thank you. So, yeah, for us, I think the youngest kid I've ever coached was 4 years. So we start from any age, like any age that a kid can take a rope and jump. So 4 years, 5 years, others start at 6, and I started when I was 27. So it's not like we have an age limit for starting or for stopping. But right now in Kenya we have age group U8, under 8, that is. We have under 10, then we have under 13, under 15, and then under 18, and then you have 19 to 20, that's the elite, and then the masters start from 30 plus. Yes, but at the World Championship or international championships, we normally have U9, U15, and then U19, and then U18, sorry, then 19 plus, so 19 to 29 category, and then 30 plus. Yes.
Okay. So take us through some of the rules. Is it, girls separate, boys separate, or is it a mixed version of it? Because this is to many, just like I say, these are very new sports to many.
Yeah.
What we used to see is just a normal game that you can just do physical exercise and enjoy yourself.
Yes.
But today, for men who are watching us right now, will be learning for the first time that this is actually a competitive sport.
Yes.
So how do you go about it in terms of the level of selection that you have just mentioned, then the 1 and 2s about the games in terms of rules.
Okay.
How do you compete actually in this jumping rope?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of people actually know skipping rope activity. Like if you ask how many people have ever jumped, it's almost the entire room. But when you ask how many people know that jump rope is a sport, it's almost none. So like our activity is familiar, but the sport part of remain unfamiliar. And thank you for that question, because I normally like it, because I want to address how this is a sport. So jump rope has no age limit, 1. 2, jump rope has it's an inclusive sport whereby both boys and girls compete on the same stage. Like World Championship, it's combined boys and girls. You can as well make a team of a relay team with mixed, so it's allowed. If you can take girls relay, for example, take boys relay, and then take a mixed team where like you mix boys and girls to make one team. We compete on the same stage, so we don't, like boys don't compete on their own stage and then girls on their own stage. It's on the same platform. So that's one. The rule of the game, we have so many rules. They apply actually better when someone is doing it, but I'll try to explain. So one, this is an indoor sport according to the world standard. But because we don't have indoor spaces in Africa or in Kenya, we decided to jump anywhere. So this is an indoor sport. It's classified as an indoor sport. 2, maybe I'll let you know that in jump rope we have 3 elements. The fitness element, the one we were doing. And then we have the entertainment element that we did in the conference room. And then we have the sport element. So maybe a little bit of the sport element. So in sport element, we have different discipline in jump rope. For example, we have individual sport and team sport. One of the individual sport is called single rope speed sprint. So the the shortest, or maybe the most competitive part of that is 1 by 30 seconds. So one person has 30 seconds to jump with the feet alternating, one after the other. Not like two, but one foot after the other. So you go, like it's like sprinting on the spot. So you have 30 seconds to go as many as you can. And then you stop at 30 seconds, and then the judges will tell you how many scores you have. But at the international level, actually you have the sensor flow, whereby when you tap, it is reflecting on the screen so that people who are watching, the layman, can actually cheer you because they are seeing your scores counting on the wall. So that is one event. The same event, we have relay for the same event. So 4 by 30 seconds. 4 by 30 seconds. It's like athletics now, the athletics version. So 4 people on the same line, you have agreed who is starting first, second, and third, and fourth. So each of them is going for 30 seconds. And then at the end, they tally the total, and then they will know which team is leading. You can either, depending on the number of teams, you go for preliminaries, then quarters, semis, and then finals. So that is just one example of how we do that. And then we have the longest one goes for 180 seconds. That is 3 minutes. Yes. So we have 3 minutes sprint on the spot with the rope. And then the last 2. So we have double unders. So you see, you jump a little bit higher, then you turn the rope twice before you land consecutively for 30 seconds. That's an event on its own. It's in a relay form. Then the last one, the best one I love, it's the triple unders. So you have the stage, you have your rope, you turn the rope 3 times before you land consecutively. That one is the last man standing. So when you drop off, they just count for you. And then that is the end, yeah. So we have the same events. So I only talked about the single rope, but we have the double dutch. Are you able to retell what that is? So double dutch is where we have 2 ropes being turned by 2 people at the same time, and 1 or more jumpers are jumping inside. Yes. All right. Yeah. And
now let's talk about now the game itself.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a game is being played in a society that in most cases this is not one of the games that they will consider to be, well known, or even a game that can bring benefit to the athletes themselves. Yeah. So talk to me about the reception outside there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a nice question. Actually, we are where we are because the community reception is really low. Actually, everywhere we go, everybody asks, like, have you been in existence? And like, yes, we've been here for almost 15 years. And people are like, yeah, because of the reception. So I can say like a jump rope or skipping rope is not yet received or given the same attention as the other sports. And to some point for me, it's a good thing as well as bad thing. Because a good thing, one, because we have time to blend and make it. Because for me, one of the goals I have, having been an athlete who have gone through so much, there is a way I would love to see federations being led in the country. So for me, the reason I'm saying it's good that the reception is still low is because we have time to actually build a better federation. Like before, everyone is everywhere coming in and out. So we have time to build a better federation with good structures. But the bad side is, one, without reception, we coach these kids and then they lose morale. Because when their parents don't support them, then you can't take them to competition. And then reception by even the ministry, for example, it's very low. That means like we have missed on 5 crucial events. One happened last month in Norway. We were invited. We couldn't even just try because we knew nobody will support. We have another one coming in Sweden. We've been invited. We are like, because we don't have so much support, let's just let it go. And then we have other events coming, but we are like, how are we able to make it to those platforms, to compete, to take our kids to those international platforms where they can compete. So that is the negative side of low reception, because now we don't have support even from the parents themselves, even though they know that this thing is actually taking their kids from the streets. It's giving them like a focus point, like they are safe. Like it's something that is creating safe spaces for their kids, and no longer, like, parents are no longer calling me. I can stay with their kids the entire day without a call. Now they feel it's a safe space. But when it comes to like support your kid, we want to go to like Nakuru. It's like, for rope skipping? No, I can't give you the money just to go and jump rope. So like the reception is still very low, and we are hoping and praying, like through media like you. I know you reached out to so many people, you cover a lot of people. So I'm very sure that through you and other people and other supporters will be able to reach a bigger margin of people, and also like start getting and winning trust, because people still relate our sport with baby gun. So it started with the baby gun thing. So when you say skipping rope, that is what comes to their mind. So when you say let your kid pay a little bit for this, and they're like, no, we've gone to schools just to introduce jump rope, just like any other sport, because this is a sport that will not only enhance career, but even the fitness, the mental health. It's like it's a sport that nurtures a holistic person in one. And the biggest thing about it is that it's now a career. Like you can go to any country right now and coach and earn. You can be a judge, a professional judge, and you'll be paid. Like this year's the first ever World Championship where judges are being paid. And every country that is doing jump rope, you are given opportunity to take judges to the World Championship, and they'll earn money. So this is a career, but not yet received well. So yeah, it's sad, it's bad that people only view sports in the country as I wouldn't mention because it will be a bias, but we have only few sports that people regard as sports, but others have been pinned down. But you know what? We are not giving up. We are coming. Yeah.
Okay, and you mentioned about something that is very important, the support especially from the government.
Yeah.
When you see, let's call the national team, the national football team, we have the Kenya Athletics, being facilitated to go out and carry Kenyan flag. And when you make requests and you get rejection, how do you feel as a coach?
Yeah, my saddest moment as a coach and as a federation president was last year when we were invited. The only Africa, like even the world president made sure that he mentioned that in our invitation letter, that this is the only African country that is coming to benchmark for Africa, that is coming to teach the world and go back and teach Africa the sport. But I think nobody read it. Those people, we submitted all those things, but nobody read it. However, it was the saddest moment where I have no control. Like, have you ever reached a point where you feel like you don't have control over this and then you have to let it go? So it was the saddest moment for me. I feel bad because there is no difference between a jumper and a footballer, because those two are achieving the same thing for the country, for themselves, for their communities and their families. So my prayer is like, if our ministry, if anyone who loves sport out there can look at other upcoming sports as important as other sports, we will really move, because sports has potential to actually employ so many youth in this country if they are given the same attention and support as other sports. Yes.
All right. And even as now we wind up, let's talk about this upcoming event.
Yeah.
So even as you talk about the projection this time round, so how far are you guys in terms of preparation?
Yeah, I'll say preparation are ongoing. At least a training. Like the training is every day happening in the hold. So we are hoping by the end of May we will have our final list. And I'm very sure, and I'm like 100% sure that given an opportunity, we can take more than 20 athletes to participate in the World Championship, this year's World Championship. However, the number will depend on how much we will be supported with. And so like right now we have already selected the first bunch of players. And then from there we are going to have the final selection, of the team that will be making it according to what we will have will be in the kitty at that time. That's why I can't tell how many players will be able to take to the World Championship, but I'm praying that we get the support so that we can take as many as possible. And then, with the dates, we haven't settled on the dates as when we are doing the selection day. Yeah, but it is somewhere in May. I'll let you know. Yes. So we submitted our budget very early at the ministry, and we are hoping that this time round it's gonna work out. But also we are also appealing to anyone who can really come in, because I know how ministry works. They can actually fund you when you are already at the airport. And right now we are supposed to have registered players, so we have to send our registration fee already. We have to send our accommodation, so we have up to the end of this month to pay our accommodation for hotels in Japan. So those are some of the things that we need to be working on even prior the support we are expecting. So yeah, so I'll say we are very optimistic that this time around we are going to represent our country. The countries are really working very hard. I saw the double Dutch relay world record right now. Girls from Sweden, and I'm looking at that. I'm like, we need to catch up. We need to catch up with those ladies because they have been consistent. I think for us, it's more of the consistency that has been making us like drop off and then come back, drop off and come back. But if we get even 1 year of just support and attention, I'm telling you, like, the whole country will turn around and support jump rope because it's a sport to watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the final one.
Yeah.
For those who are watching you and they are very interested, so where can they find you guys? Where do you train? Where are you based? You know, where is your residential camp?
Yeah.
Those questions, just answer for them pretty quick.
Oh, thank you. So if you want to find us, we have different communities where we do the sports. So one of the communities in Kibera where the sport started. The second community is in Gidurai 45 at Muiki Primary School. Another space that we have, and we thank God so much, is the partnership we have with KU. So Kenyatta University offered us a space, and this is our space. So this is another space where we train. I train also like KU Jump Rope Club here. So we had a hinge somewhere, and we couldn't follow up with the team, but now we are back. So we will be training at least twice a week, and this is the training ground. This is called Bishop Square. It's the training ground. Also, we have partnerships with different schools where we go and train their own kids. So we have teams located in in different places, especially in schools. But we don't own the school. But one of the greatest opportunity we have is KU Model School. We volunteer to coach the kids at KU Model School, and for them, they have given us a space to coach people jump rope. So yeah, all are welcome. Jump rope has no age limit. When we go for World Championship, Kenya have never taken a master's age. That is 30 plus. But we meet with people from China, America, bringing their 60 plus people Let's do this, Kenya. We can do this. Also, just one more. We have Africa Speed Challenge going on. We want to see how many Africans can really participate in this. So if you are watching and you want to participate, please just take a video of yourself doing speed, either jumping on 2 feet or alternating jogging steps for 30 seconds only. Hashtag Africa Jump Rope Federation. Thank you so much.
All right, asante sana, and thank you for making time.
Thank you as well, and thank you for covering us. This is actually the first ever media to cover us, so I'm excited.
All right, that is the Kenya Jumping Rope Federation President, Lydia, just giving us some insight. And actually, there is kuna something very important I mentioned. When you look at the category, utaona kuna under 15, then tuko na over 15, and of course above that kuna pia over 18. But kuna masters category. Masters category. Hii inamaanisha like mtu kaa kina Ngure hapo. Hii ni moment yao sasa kushine. Juu ni kuruka tu guys. Mazoezi, kuruka, unaweza hata kuwa coach, career iko hapo. Amen. Sport is just interesting. Kama una talent kwa football, wewe huwezi kimbia. Rugby nguvu hauna. Uko na chance ya kushine. Ya kufika Olympics, uone wazungu, at least ukule pia pesa ya federation ya Kenya, wewe ni mlipa ushuru. Jienjoy. Moment ni sahi, chance uko nayo. Masters, nadu umeambiwa unaweza ruka kidogo utume hapo one kama uko sawa, then mambo iko fresh. Ama namna gani watu wangu? Si ni hivyo tu. Simple. Pia mimi after hapa kuna many training venues, kuna hapa Bishop Square kwa wale wenye wanaishi Ruiru, sides za watu wote wa Ruiru, tuko na KU Model School, pale mnaweza train, mko covered. Sports ni make it known. But beside that, a very serious matter about now the support of the team. It is important to emphasize that this is just a normal sports like any other sports, like football, athletics, rugby. I'm talking about now the big three that quote unquote the real sports in the country. In as much as you go out there to bring glory to Kenya, in as much as you as long as you go and fly Kenyan flag high in the international or global arena, I think all sports deserve equal opportunity and a chance